So let me get started. Firstly, my name is Ambrosia Sayed, and I am head nutritionist and lifestyle expert at Blue Catino. I'm also trained in yoga and naturopathy. Today, my topic is five things that wreck your immune system. The reason I have selected the topic is because, most of us right now know that what is working for us for our immunity, but, there are certain things we may miss on, which we should not be doing to, compromise our immunity. So that's the reason why I've taken the other thing around, wherein, things that we unintentionally may end up doing, which may compromise our immune system. Okay, so let me get started with a story which will lead to my first point. So I'm going to be telling you a story about a person. I think he was a prisoner. He was blindfolded and he was pricked by a needle. And the blindfold was removed, and then he was told that he was bitten by a cobra. He was just told that he was actually just pricked by a needle. After a couple of hours, he died. Okay, and when they went into a postmortem and in his autopsy report, they actually found some kind of poison which was generated in his body, which made him die. So that's one story. The second story which I want to say is there was a lady with cancer, the last stage of cancer. All doctors had completely given up on her, and she was told to go back home and spend time with family. But instead, she decided to go to her native place, to her own house. She started living over there, and there was a lockdown because of snowfall and the weather condition. So she stayed in that house all by herself, with whatever food that she had at home, eating the home cooked food. She grew her own small herbs, vegetables, fruits, whatever she had around it. And she was, because she was alone and she had no one around, she was doing a lot of introspecting to her own self. She was getting to know herself more. She was into a lot of meditation. Because she was all alone, she could focus on herself more. A couple of months later, when she went back to the doctor, her cancer was gone. Okay, I really don't know the actual source of the story because I've heard it from someone, I have read it. The only message behind the story is to tell you is that your body reflect to what it believes in. Your body will reflect to whatever you put it inside, mainly in your mind. That's the reason why even Lou keeps saying that you always manifest what you keep feeling and what you put across out there. Okay, so that brings me to my first point, which talks about negative outlook towards life. This may look very spiritual, but yes, it has a direct connection because considering your immune system. Because if you see, a positive person will generally have low level of stress level. The low level of stress will automatically impact the cortisol hormone and automatically make his immune system better. Similarly, if a person is always negative, he's going to attract a lot of anxious feeling. He will attract a lot of negative thoughts, a lot of stress around it, which again impacts the cortisol, which is the stress hormone, compromising on immunity. So although it may seem very, something which may not be related to immunity, but it does. A positive outlook towards life is very, very crucial when you talk about, immunity. So remember always to look at the silver lining, always to believe in the glass which is half full and not half empty. So yes, coming to my second point, I'll be talking about sleep. Sleep being a very important part of your lifestyle practice as well. We should never ever compromise on sleep because it has a direct connection when it comes to immunity. So when I talk about sleep, we also need to consider the quality over quantity. If you look at sleep as a standard value of 7 to 9 hours, but if your sleep is very disrupted, you wake up in the middle of the night, couple of times, and with a little bit sound also you wake up, and more importantly, when you wake up in the morning after your sleep, you're feeling still tired, and if you've slept, you feel as if you've not slept enough. Even that 9 hours of or 7 hours of sleep is not good enough. So always remember, when it comes to sleep, it has to be quality over quantity. You can sleep for 4 to 5 hours and yet have a very good day, in terms of energy, and your body will recover very quickly. And you may sleep for 9 hours and still not feel really well. So there is no standard time. Of course, there is a listed time as 7 to 9 hours, but your time depends on how you feel when you wake up after sleep. Okay, now the connection between immunity. when it comes to sleep, it is found that many people who have, not slept well for, a long time, naturally their body will reduce the levels of immune cells. So there is a cell in our system which is known as T cells, which represents as immune cells in our body, which helps in fighting infection, toxins, allergies, and so much more. These cells naturally reduces if you've not slept well. Okay, so a person who is continuously depriving himself for sleep will have low level of T cells in the system and automatically more inclined to infections and compromised immunity. So, sleep is one of the lifestyle factor which we have to see it very, very strictly. And of course, as I mentioned earlier, quality over quantity. My third point, which I'll be covering today, is about dehydration, the optimal water intake. Remember, when you have when you have a feeling of thirst where you've not when you reach out to water, when you're feeling thirsty, that is a stage where you have already reaching your dehydration levels. You should not wait for your body to signal you to drink water. You should keep drinking water throughout the day, irrespective to the cues that your body gives you. Dehydration, again, directly related to immunity with regards to toxins level, because the moment your body has the capability to produce or clean up your system and produce toxins which needs to be eliminated out from your system, and water is that one medium through which the toxins can be flushed out. If that medium is missing, that toxins are going to stay up in your system, compromising your immunity. Okay, so water acts as like a medium through which your toxins will be pulled out from your system. At the same time, it helps in terms of circulation. It helps in terms of clearing all the toxins, whichever part of the body it is there, and it is tried to be eliminated out. So again, if you're not drinking water, your toxins are more, naturally you will start feeling more tired, more fatigued, and you may even not be able to perform physical activity. You may not be able to sleep well as well, which again relates you to your immune system. So water is again a very, very crucial aspect. We're looking at, a lot of food. We add a lot of superfoods every single day, but as simple as water, we sometimes tend to miss on that. Okay, so remember, water also is very important for your immunity. My next point is about exercise. Remember, when it comes to exercise, we need to exercise to increase our metabolic rate. We need to exercise for improving our circulation, our lung capacity, our oxygen capacity, and for immunity. But when there is a line through which you can exercise, there is a borderline to which you can exercise. And if you over exercise, you're subjecting your body to so much stress that your immunity may get compromised. Okay, when you over exercise, when you exercise too much, your cortisol levels remain constantly high. When your cortisol levels are constantly high, again it will impact a cellular messenger in your body, which is known as prostaglandins. So prostaglandins are naturally produced by our body, which fights infection, which lowers inflammation down. If there is any pathogen that is entering the body will produce prostaglandins and try to kill that pathogen. So those prostaglandin levels naturally reduces if you're over exercising, because you're subjecting your body to so much of stress. So exercising is very good, but when you overdo it, it will compromise your immunity. When I say about exercising, remember, a 30 minutes in the morning or afternoon time and a 30 minutes in the evening time is good enough. When I say over exercise, I mean with that is continuously working out for more than 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours at a one period of time. So that is what is over exercise. And the cues that your body will tell you, when you're over exercising, is mostly you'll feel extreme fatigue, so much fatigue that you will not be able to walk. The second thing is dizziness. Dizziness is very common because your body is deprived of all the nutrients as well, because you're continuously exercising. So you'll have a low blood pressure, which may give you dizziness. The third thing is, when it comes to exercise, you have a lot of soreness. Next morning when you wake up, or even 2 to 3 days later, the soreness will be constantly there in your system. You will feel pain all over your system. So your recovery will be not very great if you're over exercising. The other thing is injuries. If you're over exercising, since you're subjecting your body to so much stress, you're more prone to injuries, muscle injuries, tissue injuries, bone injuries. So that's another signal that you're over exercising. So remember, exercising is good, but overdoing it can compromise your immunity. Coming to my last point, which talks about sanitization and hygiene practices. Overdoing on sanitization and hygiene practices can also be a problem in terms of immunity, because you're, in the process of exposing yourself, preventing yourself from exposing to bad bacteria, you also prevent yourself from exposing to good bacteria. And we actually need that good bacteria around us. So there is a hypothesis known as hygiene hypothesis, which is a study which was done a long time ago, which talks about children. As they were growing up, they were not they were kept in a very hygiene place. They were not exposed to the wildlife. They were indoors, and they were just kept in a lot of hygiene practices. When they grew up, they were more prone to allergies, and they were more prone to autoimmune and inflammatory conditions. The reason being this, their immunity was not allowed to get allowed to perform, or allowed to get activated to the external bacteria, and that's the reason why they grew up having a very compromised immunity. So remember, when I talk about hygiene practices is very good when it comes to bathing at particular day, cleaning your vegetables and fruits before actually cooking it. That is good. When I say overdoing it, that means using chemicals and a lot of other chemicals in terms of cleaning your fruit and vegetables. I mean, even your own self, you should always go over organic cleansers. Use neem leaves in your bathing water, because that will not kill the good bacteria. Similarly, when it comes to cleaning your fruits and vegetables, as simple as washing them in salt water, or with maybe few drops, 2 to 3 teaspoons of apple cider vinegar water is good enough to sanitize them. And of course, you're going to cook them further. So again, it further gets sanitized. So I think that's good enough. When it comes to food as well, food has naturally good amount of bacteria. So make use of the probiotic which is present in your food when it comes to, buttermilk, curd. You can prepare your rice kanji, you can prepare your beet kanji, because that will naturally expose you to good bacteria, and that will enter your gut. One another tip that I would give you, especially in the light of the corona situation, because everybody is scared to go out, but you can have your own small garden in your balcony or near to you, where you can expose yourself to the soil, because the moment you come in contact with the natural soil, which is right now it's our wildlife, it will empower your immunity, because you will get exposed to the good bacteria. So yes, take care of your sanitization, wash your hands, but use organic products as much as possible. When it comes to fruits and vegetables, as I mentioned, simple cleaning and cooking is good enough. So yes, I have covered all my 5 points for today. And Tina, I'm open for more questions if we have any.
While we're waiting for more questions to come in, one question that has come in is, how can we recover from muscle soreness due to excessive exercising?
Okay. So as I mentioned, excessive exercise within the limit of your own body's need is good enough. So as I said, 30 within 1 hour is good enough to be done at a time. If you're excessively working out, all you have to do is reduce the exercise pace for yourself. Okay, you can limit your exercise time. And secondly, when it comes to recovery, your body will naturally recover. To support it further, probably just having Epsom salt bath every day after your physical activity will help in terms of getting rid of your soreness, quickly.
Okay, thanks for that, Ambrosia. Does oil pulling help in increasing immunity?
Yes, definitely. Because oil, overnight when you're sleeping it, your body will produce a lot of toxins, and there will be overgrowth of bacteria in your mouth. It could be good, it could be bad, because there is a lot of stored up food particles which may have stuck around in your mouth. So oil pulling is something which is good, because it will leach out all the dirty bacteria from your mouth, and that's when you're going to throw it out. So yes, it will, help you in terms of building your immunity.
Okay. There's another question that's come in. For cancer patients, the fruits need to be organic, as these days too many pesticides are used to grow.
Right. Yes, it has to be organic. It's always better to go with organic stuff. When it comes to cancer patients, yes, you can eat vegetables and fruits in raw form. Vegetables can be cooked, partially in terms of stir fried if they are, undergoing certain treatment. And when it comes to fruit, after cleaning it, you can actually peel off the skin, especially when it comes to, apples and pears. If you're scared of, getting in contact with any bad bacteria which is present on the skin, you can remove the skin and have it. So that makes it even safer for cancer patients.
Super. Thanks for that, Amrutya. The next question is, anything in terms of food that we need to take care of in terms of immunity?
Yes, there are so many foods which helps in terms of immunity. The simplest one that Luke always talk about is immunity powder, which you can have it at this point in the light of Corona situation. And basic regular Indian food that we eat, the dal, sabzi, rice, roti, and salad is extremely good in terms of building up your immunity. So keep it very simple and easy.
Okay, great. What is the best time to do Kapalbhati?
The best time to do Kapalbhati is, mostly in the first half of the day. And, this is something which is related to pranayam. So yes, you can do it anytime in the first half of the day. In the second half, you can, probably before sunset, it is better. But in the morning time, it's always better to do Kapalbhati.
And any time limit?
You can do, and so basically when it comes to Kapalbhati, you can, if you're a beginner, you can start with 50 to 60 counts, and you can go all the way up to 120 count at a stretch, and then you can repeat those counts 3 to 4 times. So 120 counts 3 to 4 times is the ideal time, but as a beginner, you can start with 60 count set.
Okay, great. My next question is, can afternoon deep sleep boost immunity?
Yes, you can take a nap in the daytime. That's absolutely fine. Again, as I said, listen to your body's signal. If your body needs sleep, it will ask you to take a nap in the afternoon time, and you can give it to that. It is absolutely fine to take a quick nap in the afternoon, a power nap in the afternoon time, because that's when our metabolism also drops. So, just, get yourself the feeling of fresh after you wake up is something that you can look forward to, and it will help you in terms of immunity.
Okay. Thanks for that, Amrutya. I'm definitely going to take that as a tip for myself as well. Okay. Is it safe to eat raw salads now during the pandemic? How do we clean or sanitize these vegetables if we're eating it raw?
Okay, so in terms of sanitizing the vegetables, when it comes to cruciferous vegetable, it's always recommended to, saute it on the pan. You give it a light heat treatment on the pan, even when it comes to salad. When it comes to other vegetable, you can simply wash them in warm water with salt. Or use warm water with about 2 to 3 teaspoons of apple cider vinegar. Soak in that. That will get rid of all the dirty bacteria from it, and then you can use it in your salads. But when it comes to cruciferous vegetable, make sure it is cooked and then you consume it.
Okay, great. Okay. Are there any particular foods to keep the energy up all day?
Biologically, we are designed that in a way that our energy should drop by the second half of the day so that we'll be able to sleep better. Okay, but in the daytime, try to, as simple as which I was sharing with you as well, Tina, simple as water intake. If you're drinking water, your body has the ability to keep you energized throughout the day till the sunset time. Okay, so optimal water intake is something that you should look forward to if you want to keep yourself energized.
Okay, great. Can you share any light? Can you share light on on sugar usage? How much of it is fine, and are there better alternatives?
Refined sugar is a big no-no, but alternatives to it is jaggery. There is stevia. There is coconut jaggery. You can always look forward to that, and keep it as minimal as possible. Of course, indulge in those things in desserts and stuff like that. And of course, as an alternative in your teas and coffees, you can definitely go with jaggery or organic honey as
well. Okay, super. Is there any food that you would recommend that we consume after exercising in the morning or evening? And how much time should, what's the gap that we should keep it before or after these meals while we exercise?
I think one thing which is already out there and Luke keeps talking about after workout is sattu. Sattu is something that you can definitely have in the morning and in the evening after your workout. It's the easiest protein drink that you can, make at home and drink in, especially now as well, when you cannot source a lot of protein powder at home, the deliveries are compromised. So you can always look for basic sattu powder drink. If you can have it 10 minutes after your workout, that's good enough.
Okay. What is advised before the workout?
Before the workout, it's always better if you're into yoga, 1 hour before, and any other physical activity as well. 1 hour before, you can take a serving of fruits and nuts. Even in the evening time before your sunset, you can have a serving of fruits and nut, and then go about with your workout after 30 minutes to 1 hour later.
Excellent. Thanks for that, Ambrosia. Does drinking coffee or tea more than twice decrease your immunity?
It will not decrease your immunity because, in a way, like it is not directly connected to immunity, but caffeine has the ability to dehydrate your system. Caffeine also has the ability to, not allow good nutrients to get absorbed if you're taking it along with meal. So, you should use caffeine very wisely. Half an hour to 45 minutes after a meal, if you're drinking coffee, it's absolutely fine. But you're having a meal and then having coffee immediately, it's going to hamper. And of course, coffee is going to dehydrate your system. So overdoing that, will decrease the water content, and that may compromise your immunity. But there is no direct connection with coffee compromising on immunity. I feel 1 cup of, regular coffee is good enough for everyone.
Thanks. Is there any food, fruit, or vegetable that needs to be avoided by a cancer patient?
Not really, because when it comes to fruits and vegetables, they have the most purest form of antioxidant. They have chlorophyll, they have nutrients, and so much more. So no particular fruits or vegetable is to be avoided. It's just that when they're going under a certain treatment, they have to be careful in terms of cooking it well, because they don't want to expose themselves to any kind of a bad bacteria. So make sure it is cooked. When it comes to fruits, as I said, it has to be clean, and you can just remove the skin out from it and have the inside of the fruit.
All right. There's one really large question. It's about 5 best immunity boosting methods. So like what drink, food, yoga, asana, how much time for sleep, and anything particular for immunity boosting is the next question that's come up.
Okay, so as I said, for the immunity boosting, a balanced meal is very crucial. So keep it as simple as that. The other part was water, right? What to drink. Okay, so there is a magic, the Luke's magic potion, which is there on Luke's website. You can refer to that. That is one thing that you can drink as of now to boost your immune system. And as I said, the immunity powder can also be used. You can just mix it in water and put it in your gravies, and that will also help in terms of building up your immunity. Exercise, the yoga part you mentioned. So in terms of yoga, the pranayam is the best thing you can do, because it naturally increases the oxygen capacity in your system, helping in supporting your immunity. So pranayam is don't miss your pranayam. Even if you miss your workout on weekends or something, don't miss your pranayams on weekends. What was the other thing?
How much time should they give to sleep?
Okay, when it comes to sleep, as I mentioned earlier, sleep has to be, it varies from person to person. You have to, like standard is between 7 to 9, but anywhere close to that is good enough. The moment, like you should feel fresh after waking up. So that's a cue for you. If you wake up in the morning and feel fresh and energized, that means you have achieved a good amount of sleep in the night.
Okay, great. There's a question on which one's better, turmeric powder or fresh turmeric? Similarly, for papaya seeds or the papaya skin for patients, which one is better?
Papaya skin or papaya seeds?
Yes.
Okay. When it comes to turmeric, both are good enough. There is no one thing. Depending on your availability, whichever is more accessible for you. See, raw turmeric, you have to bring it and you have to powder it, and in any ways you're using it. So powder might as well can be used. When it comes to papaya seeds and papaya leaf, the skin you said, right? Skin and the seeds. Yeah, the seeds are more prone. So you can use the seeds, and the extract of the seeds can be used over the skin.
can you tell us something more about this new fruit called soursop?
Soursop, yeah. So soursop is basically, it's mostly very good in terms of antioxidant and anti-inflammatory properties. It is one for superfood which is very good for cancer patients because it actually helps in terms of apoptosis of cancer cells. So it's not a new fruit. It's always been there, but you get for cancer patients, it's really good. You can make use of it.
Okay, great. Thanks so much, Ambrosia. I think that's all the time we have for today. But if you could quickly recap the 5 points that you spoke about before, and we could wrap up the session then.
Yes. So thank you so much, Tina, for putting the questions out there. So yes, I'll summarize talking about the 5 points which I've covered today. We started with talking about a very positive outlook towards life, which is going to impact your immunity, and a negative outlook, of course, will compromise your immune system. So work in that area. As I said earlier, the silver lining is more important, and always consider the glass being half full. Is something that you should always look forward to. The second point which I covered was about water intake. So your water intake has to be really optimal. Don't wait for your body to remind you to drink enough water. It needs a medium. The body needs a medium through which the toxins can be moved out from the system. So optimal water intake is very important. Don't go to a stage where your body is already dehydrated, which will compromise your immunity. The third thing is about exercise being very, very crucial in terms of helping you with every aspect, but overdoing it, of course, is going to hamper your immune system because you're subjecting your body to too much of stress, and high level of cortisol level will again compromise your immunity. So exercising is good, but limited to your own body's need. Listen to your body's cues. As I mentioned, too much of soreness which doesn't recover for a very long time, and more prone to injuries are something which the cues that you can understand if you're over exercising. The next point is about sleep. The quality of sleep is very, very important. Remember, quality over quantity. 7 to 9 hours is standard, but based on how you feel better the next morning is you decide how much you need in the day. So yes, sleep again directly related to your immunity, because if you've not slept well, there is no rest and recovery which has happened for your body, and of course it is going to compromise your immunity. The T cells which we talked about will reduce if you're not slept well, and naturally a person who has been depriving himself for sleep, the T cells is naturally low in them, which again if they get an infection, they will take much longer time to recover than a regular person who has been sleeping well. And my last point is about over sanitization and hygiene practices. So expose yourself, do your own set of planting at home, have good amount of probiotic from your natural food when it comes to curd, buttermilk, the kanjis, the beetroot kanji, the rice kanji. Don't over sanitize your fruits and vegetable. And similarly, when it comes to usage of, natural products in cleansing, use organic soaps, use organic shampoos, even mild shampoos are fine. Don't overdo in that area. So yes, these are my 5 points. I really hope these were useful, and thank you so much for joining me today. As I said, many a time we know what we have to do for immunity, and we may miss on these small things, unintentionally that may also compromise our immunity. So thank you so much once again.